Welcome, students, to your very first lesson. We're going to start off by actually learning about digital citizenship, which is really important that we go through before you start doing a bunch of these online activities where you'll be commenting and chatting with your classmates and your teachers and all that jazz. So it's important we actually get through kind of some groundwork around what good digital citizenship is, about being kind to each other before we actually engage in those activities. Now, this is actually how a lot of your lessons are going to be delivered, in that you are going to be watching like a video that I've made, normally on Edpuzzle, where it has prompts and questions to kind of guide you through. But I'll still be with you on Google Meets. So if you have questions or comments or anything else, well, you can actually ask them. So it like allows me to be in two places at one time. I'm both giving you the content, going through the lesson, but then on top of that, I'm also kind of there for the tutoring aspect and helping people out and all that kind of stuff as well. So I think it's best of both worlds. Beautiful thing too is if you happen to miss a class, due to like a doctor's appointment or illness or whatever, well, then you can actually catch up on it relatively easily. Although again, it's just super important that you're in class. So but let's get into it. So digital citizenship. To begin with, we're going to actually watch a video, and this video is going to have a bunch of different images in it to kind of talk about your digital footprint and what digital footprint you're leaving. So what this is in relation to, and you probably have heard about digital footprint before, but when you're using websites and you're active on those websites or services, right? And you're commenting or posting things or whatever, you're leaving information about yourself there. And that's your digital footprint. Just like if you step into the sand, you leave a footprint there that you can see. In the same way, when you use these services, you're leaving an imprint of yourself, a footprint. So it's important to think about, what is the footprint that you are leaving? What are you leaving behind with these services when you use things like Snapchat or Instagram or whatever? So I'm going to have you watch the video. You'll get a prompt in Edpuzzle. And when you watch the video, I want you to think about, what does the lighthouse mean, the copier, the whisper in the ear, the stadium, jumbotron, and the permanent marker in relation to what you post online. Here we go. So now that you've watched that video, I want you now to pick one of these things and what you think it means in relation to your digital footprint, into what you post. And I'd like you to comment in a service called Padlet about one of these things. Now, first of all, let me say about Padlet, this is anonymous. So no one knows what left what piece of information. I think I have a way to view it, but besides that, your peers will have no idea who is who. So under one of the headings, right, one of the things, whether it's a lighthouse, the copier, the whisper in the air, the stadium, jumbotron, or the permanent marker, I'd like you to write down what you think it means in terms of your digital footprint and what you post online, what it represents. So for example, what does a copier mean for what you post online? So pick one. Write down one little thing. It doesn't have to be a paragraph or anything. It can be like 2 or 3 words of what you think it means or represents in terms of that imagery from the video in Padlet. The link will be in Edpuzzle on the side. Here we go. So as a class later, we're actually going to take a look at that Padlet and see what everybody put down and kind of analyze it together, which is neat. So let's move on and talk about what your digital footprint is. A digital footprint is a trail of data you create while using the internet. It includes the websites you visit, emails you send, the information you submit to online services. A passive digital footprint is a data trail you unintentionally leave online. Things that maybe you don't even know you're leaving. Maybe a bit of a side tangent here, but if you guys have ever actually read the user agreements for some of these services that you use, so for example, Instagram, it's really quite scary because the photos you upload to there, they don't even actually belong to you after you have uploaded it to Instagram. They are now Instagram's property to use however they see fit. Which is kind of interesting. So we're going to think about what kind of trail you leave online when you participate in websites. So this document right here that you're going to have access to, again through Edpuzzle, is basically information from 2 different applicants, and it's kind of like a Facebook style thing, and I think a few other websites as well, where it shows things that they've posted or information. Now, both of these people are applying for a TV hosting job, and the question here is, of these 2 applicants, if you were the employer, who would you pick? Now, in today's world, you better bet that when you apply for jobs, they're looking and actually seeing what stuff you've left online, what your digital footprint is. And when you post things in a public forum that maybe aren't terribly smart or reflect poorly on you, you need to realize that that is now a part of your digital footprint. That is now associated with you. So it's something to be cognizant of, aware of, as you are participating in online services. Just to give you an example, in my life, I have a rental property. I'm a landlord for a house, and so when we get renters applying for our places, you better bet that we actually take a look and see their digital footprint. So we'll search up their name and kind of see some information because it allows us to actually understand a little bit of who's applying to be a tenant. All right, so take a look at this document, read through, and I want you to think about who would you pick as you go through. This will take a bit of time, right? Read through this information carefully for both of these people. I'll leave you to it. Now that you've read through both of their information, I'd like you to vote. Who do you think should be picked for this TV hosting job of the two people? There was Drake and Cassie, someone else. Anyways, click on the link in Edpuzzle to place your vote. This is straw vote or straw poll, service, which again is anonymous, so people will not be able to see who voted for who, but I want you to pick who you think is more deserving of the job. In other words, who would you hire if you were making the choice? So we're going to take a look at the results, but the question here is, can you explain your choice? So we'll have this discussion afterwards, but why did you choose who you chose? And on top of that, what could the unsuccessful applicant have done differently? So this is something that we are going to maybe discuss a little bit as a group in Google Meets after we watch these videos. So you can think about this, maybe jot a few ideas down, or even maybe I'll have an Edpuzzle question where you can enter in why, or actually particularly what would the unsuccessful applicant have done differently or could have done differently in order to make sure that that digital footprint maybe cause them to not get the job. So what could they have done differently in order to increase their chances of being picked for the TV hosting job? Now, another thing is, how does it make you feel, maybe reflecting on this a bit? Maybe you haven't even thought about your digital footprint before, but how does it make you feel that the things you do online may be seen years from now? That maybe some post that you made on some website later on could be brought up and kind of talked about in relation to you in terms of, hey, you posted this back in 2020, blah, blah, blah. How does that make you feel that this can follow you around? Because everything you post, it's never just gone, right? It's never just into the ether. It's there. It's there and it's searchable and usable. And a lot of stuff can be brought up when you search your name to actually see kind of what comes up from the posts and the digital footprint that you have. So I guess the big question here is, how does that make you feel? And this is, again, I think a discussion that we'll have as a whole group if people want to participate. All right, so another video. This is about the impact your comments actually have on others. So go ahead, watch the video. Link will be on the side, and then we'll continue on. Now, kind of a general rule, and this comes from Bambi, which I'm sure most of you have not watched, but there's this character, that cute, wonderful bunny right there is Thumper. And Thumper says, if you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all. And I think, like, for the internet even, and I know it's strangers or whatever, but really at the end of the day, why do we want to tear each other down? Why do we want to post negative things, right? Instead, if you don't agree, or I shouldn't say don't agree, because I think it's important to have a reasonable discourse when it comes to other people and not agreeing. I think there is a place on the internet for actually talking with people, discussing things in a civil manner. But when you're dealing with somebody in a comment, if you don't have anything nice to say about it, like, just walk away. Just don't leave a comment. You don't have to leave a horrible comment. You can just walk away from it, right? But if you do have something nice to say, it's nice to put that on there. It's nice to share. When we look at the Flipgrid activity that you're going to be doing later on, you're going to be commenting on other people's Flipgrids around things like people that maybe have similar interests as you, or maybe just like, hey, that's a great video, or oh, I really like what you did there, or oh, that's a cool pet that you have. And it's neat to actually then leave that comment on their Flipgrid so they can see it. But again, if you're going to say something mean, don't do it. Don't leave the comment, right? Think about how you're making other people feel. All right, so another video here. What can you do in relation to kind of cyberbullying or people being mean to others when it comes to comments? So here, watch the video. All right, so we're going to now do a little quizzes. It's not for marks, okay? This is just actually talking about some of the things around digital citizenship. Now, we didn't cover everything that's on this quiz. Far from it, far from it. So a lot of this quiz is actually learning experience of you kind of take this little quizzes. I don't know if you guys have done a quizzes before, but you're gonna go through it and it will tell you right answers if you get them wrong. But this is a learning experience. Now, this is not for marks. In fact, the names that show up on this for the quizzes, because there will be like some names, they're just computer generated names. It's not even gonna actually be your name. So complete safety here. Even if you got every question wrong, no one will know. No one will know, okay? So you are fine. But try out this quizzes, use it as a chance to learn, and later on, we're actually gonna take up the quizzes to see how you did. All right, well, basically, that's actually it for our digital citizenship lesson. Just a lot of videos, a lot of reflecting. The big thing that I hope you get out of this is that, again, you're just thinking about the impact that you have when you post online about your digital footprint, and specifically about being kind to others when you post, right? If you're not gonna say anything nice, don't say anything at all. All right, there is a digital citizenship contract agreement that I would like you to sign. Read over it carefully. Anything you sign, you should read over carefully. But these are kind of like the rules or the norms of our online interactions. So read through, think about the information, and then when you feel comfortable with it, you can just type your name at the bottom of this contract to show that you understand it and sign it. Now, this is not going to be linked in Edpuzzle. This you're going to find in your Google Classroom under the post for today with this digital citizenship information. All right, well, that's it for this lesson. We're going to continue some stuff on Google Meets, talking through some things. Thanks for your attention, and have a good rest of your day.